Welcome to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss news and views about pop culture, science fiction, fantasy, food, cooking, the outdoors, and more. Ezra Miller is in the news again, and naturally, it's nothing good. It never is. Now the troubled actor has a mother and her three very young children, ages 1 to 5, living on their farm in Vermont, at which there are firearms allegedly strewn about the home, frequent drug use, and an unlicensed marijuana grow operation occurring. This report comes after Miller had reportedly tried to strangle a woman in Iceland back in 2020. Then the actor was arrested twice in Hawaii in March and April of this year, and a temporary restraining order was filed against Miller in Hawaii, which was then later dropped. Then a protection order was issued against Miller in North Dakota in May after the parents of an 18-year-old Sioux activist who's been traveling with Miller claimed that Miller had allegedly been grooming since the age of 12. Miller then published several memes on their social media account mocking authorities and claiming to be in another dimension before deleting the Instagram account altogether. A similar protection order was filed against Miller earlier this month after the mother of a 12-year-old claimed that Miller has been grooming the child, and I did a video on that topic just last week. So let's dive into this article and see what is now going on. Ezra Miller has been hosting a 25-year-old mother and her three very young children at their Vermont farm, a living arrangement that worries the children's father, as well as two others with knowledge of the situation and who have stated that it's an unsafe environment for children, alleging there are unattended guns strewn around the home on Miller's 96-acre property. One source claims that there was an instance where one of the children, the 1-year-old, allegedly picked up a loose bullet and put it in her mouth. Yeah, that's a really good thing for a child to do, isn't it? But the mother, who, like the father, isn't being named, claims that Miller had helped her escape from an allegedly violent and abusive ex, and that Miller had helped her find a safe environment for her three very young children. Well, I don't consider Miller's farm to be particularly safe. She said, "They may have firearms for self-defense purposes, and they are stored in a part of the house that the children never go in. Like, that is really going to mean that the children aren't going to go investigating and come across things like that if they're not locked away properly. And yeah, I don't think that that's really the case there at this house." She goes on to say, "My kids are able to relax more into their healing because of the safety and nurturing Ezra has been providing for them." Well, that alone should be a big red flag, because Miller has potentially kidnapped Dakota Iron Eyes and disappeared with her. Then the Massachusetts court filed a similar protection order against him just this month. So does this really sound like somebody you would want to have three 1 to 5-year-old children with? I mean, I don't think so. The mother and children aged 1 to 5 have been living at Miller's Stamford, Vermont farm since mid-April. The actor met the woman in Hilo, Hawaii, which Miller had been visiting in March. So what mother would take her three young children to the home of what is essentially a complete stranger? I mean, does that make any sense to anybody? It doesn't make any sense to me. The embattled actor, who is set to star in Warner Brothers' anticipated The Flash, racked up a string of arrests while in Hawaii, causing an emergency meeting with studio executives about Miller's future with the franchise. Yes, Warner Brothers and David Zaslav really need to take a serious look at what's going on, because nothing about Ezra Miller that's being reported is good. The man has disappeared, and all of these bizarre situations and the restraining orders, this is not a healthy person. This is not someone who should be involved in a major motion picture, and certainly isn't somebody that the film studio could use as a way to promote the film. In the midst of that unfolding crisis, The children's father claims that Miller secured a flight out of Hawaii for the woman and her children, allegedly without his knowledge. He claims he's not been able to see or speak with his children since their departure. I got a bad feeling in my stomach, said the father. I do want to go get my kids. They mean the effing world to me. And naturally, representatives for Miller are not commenting on this. They won't provide a statement, nor will they even say whether or not they know where Miller and Dakota Iron Eyes are, because they're just staying quiet. The mother and father have been at odds for some time, according to Hawaii court records. The mother pursued one domestic abuse case and one paternity case against the father in May 2021. He has denied all abuse allegations, and the domestic case was terminated when neither of the parents appeared in court. Files in the paternity case showed the judge put the case on hold last October because the father hadn't been served. The father has filed a domestic case against the mother in April related to her taking the children out of state. That case is pending. The mother says she is still living at Miller's farm with the children. The two sources who confirm seeing children with their mother describe it as a chaotic environment that is unsafe for children. Video footage from April reviewed by Rolling Stone appears to show at least 8 assault weapons, rifles, and handguns lying around the living room, with some weapons propped up next to a pile of stuffed animals. Does that sound like something you would want around children that are aged 1 to 5 years old? Really? The two sources also allege that there has been frequent and heavy marijuana use in front of the children, with little concern about proper ventilation. And there is apparently a sizable cannabis farm on Miller's property. That's the real problem here. Citizens in Vermont can grow up to 2 marijuana plants for their own personal use. But they are claiming to have 28 different strains of marijuana growing at Miller's farm. And Miller's farm is not among the state's 25 licensed cultivators that are allowed to grow more than 6 plants and sell to wholesalers. And this is from Vermont's Cannabis Control Board. So, yeah, if Miller has an illegal marijuana grow operation going on, why isn't the state doing anything to get the children, which aren't Miller's, away from the property? I mean, is that really a safe place to have the children? The father claims he has been trying to remove the children from the farm since April. After learning of the alleged weapons and drug use at Miller's property in mid-May, he called Vermont's Department for Children and Families, DCF, and local police to carry out wellness checks. Apparently, one social worker has gone there and claimed that didn't see anything wrong, but that they're still working on it. And of course, neither DCF nor the Vermont State Police are going to respond to a comment on any of this situation. It's just really bizarre. So this is just one more in a long string of very bizarre situations with Ezra Miller. Nothing about this individual is in any way normal. It just continues to get ever increasingly abnormal. The welfare of these 3 children should be of primary concern. They shouldn't be at the actor's farm. They should be back in Hawaii, as should the mother, dealing with whatever situation may or may not be going on between those people. And that's really a matter for the state of Hawaii. This should not be in Vermont. So Warner Brothers and David Zaslav really need to take a close look at this. This is not a good way to be promoting The Flash. And what else is going to occur between now and the time that film gets released a year from now? I mean, anything could happen. So I think Warner Brothers needs to seriously rethink their involvement with Ezra Miller. I think this is what it really boils down to at this point. Thanks for watching today, and a huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed to our channel. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, and please feel free to share a comment. If you'd like to see more of our videos in the future and help support this channel, please press the red subscribe button. And please press the bell to receive notifications for new content. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.